Hello and welcome to Starling Initiatives. My name is Neil Cole and I am hosting this channel, this YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like and share this video if it is something that you do like. It's been a few months since I posted a video. In that time I've had COVID-19 for a couple of weeks, and I had the holidays and a few other things happened personally, so I have been out of touch for a time, but I want to change that. So this video here is an introduction to a series of videos. I'm going to present a new one every single week. And all of it is about my book, Rising Tides, which is been in print now for going on 3 years. When I published Rising Tides, it was a very futuristic book. It was looking at how there are major trends in the world that have hit exponential growth rates, and how the church and the people of God were unprepared for these kinds of things that were happening even as I wrote. What I did not know when I wrote the book was that a few years later, we would be hit with a global pandemic and a lockdown all across the globe. But if I did know that, this book would not have changed a whole lot. I might have added a chapter about viruses and pandemics, but the truth is the solutions that I present in the book Rising Tides would have prepared us for this moment. This was a book written ahead of its time. And in fact, it did not sell well because Amazon tried desperately to keep it from getting into your hands. Now, I don't think actually Amazon knows who I am or what this book is about. But when I tried to release the book, they would not allow anyone to get the book. You could buy it, you could pay them money for it, but they would never be able, they would never sell it to you. They would never send it to you, and you would actually end up online, it would say out of stock, which is impossible for a book that's print on demand. This went on for months at a time after the release, and it slowed down and stopped all momentum for the book. If I were to actually think about it, I would say that there is a true enemy in this world, and it's not Jeff Bezos and Amazon, and it's no person, it's not flesh and blood, but there is a spiritual enemy at work who is trying to prevent the preparing of God's people for what we've gone through. This book is called Rising Tides, and it is still relevant to this day. I highly recommend you try reading it. It covers 4 trends that have hit exponential growth trends. The first is the population growth. We have just entered into a whole new century, a whole new millennium. But the previous century was the most murderous century in all of human history. We have, with all the different wars and the genocides that we have seen in both Germany and in Russia and in China and in Cambodia and in Rwanda and all these different places where we have seen genocides take place, and all the wars that we have had, you could say upwards of 1 billion people were killed. Their lives were taken. And 1 billion more since early 1970s have been aborted. That is a lot of life loss in a short period of time compared to history. Nevertheless, the population of the human being has skyrocketed to almost 8 billion. And I don't think the kingdom of God, the church, the people of God are ready to truly take on a goal as huge as that. But we can if we change our ways. And I talk about that in the book, and I will show you in these videos that are coming what we can do about that. The rise in technology, I call it the technology tsunami that has hit us, is incredible. We all know how much technology has become important to us. Something to think about is sometimes there's something that you existed without for a long, long time. Suddenly it becomes a part of your life, and you can't imagine going a day or a week without it. Like the iPhone, for instance. I'm recording this on my iPhone. there's a time where, I went 30 years without a cell phone. 30 years of my life, I had to find a payphone or use somebody's landline to get a hold of somebody. Now, I go a few years with this mobile phone, and I am so dependent upon it. I had to go on a trip once, and I left early in the morning, and I had to pack in the dark and leave without trying to wake up my wife. And I managed to get to the airport, went through security, and realized I didn't bring my iPhone with me. I could not imagine going on a trip without it. I had to figure out how to get it. So I thought, I'll call my son and have him bring it to me at the airport. We might still make it. So I asked the person in front of me if I could use their phone to call my son. He said, sure. He handed me his phone. And I realized I don't even know my own son's phone number. So I had to think, how can I call my son when I don't know his number? Then I realized it's in my computer because all my contacts are synchronized. So I get out my laptop and I look up my son's phone number and I dial it and I call him and I say, can you bring me my phone? I'll meet you out front. So I get out of the line and I go out front and he brings me my phone. I go through security twice, but I feel twice as secure because I have this phone with me. I could not imagine 2 weeks without it. And yet I went 30 years without it. It's crazy how we've become dependent upon technology, and it influences all these different areas of our life. I'm going to look at how it influences our language, our dependency, and there are even some scary things that could be coming in the future technological. Then we're going to look at the economic gap, the gap between the rich and the poor, and we will see how this is widening every day. I wrote this book before COVID hit us, but since this pandemic, the billionaires have increased their wealth, some of them almost twice as much. It took 30 years for Jeff Bezos to finally make $100 billion with Amazon. And in this past year, he's added $89 billion to it. He's almost doubled his wealth. This is exponential growth. And it's separating. The middle class is shrinking rapidly. And I look at that in this book. Also, we look at the polarization of worldviews. And this could perhaps be the most alarming of the four trends. The fact that we are now being taught by our media to fear and hate our own neighbors because they have a different worldview than we do. This is actually happening right now. We actually have censorship happening all over the place in social media. All the time, we are actually seeing there are more troops deployed in our nation's capital at this moment than are in Afghanistan and Iraq combined. And those troops were scrutinized for their political viewpoints before they were assigned. This is an unusual time, and right now they are intending to pass laws that would declare some U.S. citizens as terrorists, and we would be at war with one another. This is an unprecedented time for us. And I think that this is an alarming trend that we have to be aware of. And this is, all four of these trends, there's nothing we can do about them, except this one, we can stop contributing to the hate. We can stop contributing to the fear. We can wake up and stop being manipulated by a narrative that is presented on either side. Look for these videos to come out one a week for a while. I was given the blessing of being a part of an adjunct faculty at a school in this area, AEU, and they are allowing me to actually clip parts of my lectures to present this material to you. So look for these videos in the coming weeks. Thank you so much for being a part. Remember, subscribe, like, and share these videos.